A cornerstone of President-elect Donald Trump's campaign is his focus on mass deportations. There's about 11 million undocumented people living in the U.S. as of 2022, with nearly two-thirds of them having lived here for at least a decade. President-elect did something similar in 2017 with his Muslim travel ban, and now immigration rights lawyers say they are ready. And joining me now to talk about it, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. And Khalif, President Biden, he overturned Trump's travel ban in 2021, but he did have the support of the Supreme Court at that time.
He did have support of the Supreme Court, but what I can tell you is a couple of things. Folks have been entrenched into this topic throughout the entire process.
It's main campaign focus for
campaign
Trump.
focus in a couple of things. The narrative have shifted during the time. Originally, he said you will see on day one the largest deportation that America's ever seen. Trump kind of shifted that towards the end, where he talked about it being the largest deportation of criminals that you've ever seen. But we don't have to guess. This is not like 2017 where we were caught off guard, where this just happened and it's like, wow, what's happening? People are kind of maneuvering, attorneys on the floor in the airports trying to figure out how you can get people, as they're on the planes about to land in this country, how can they ensure they can legally get into the country? Now, you've had a number of years where folks can figure out what the strategy is. So on the people that are attempting to stop this from happening, they've been fighting for years. They're recognizing that DACA is going to be under attack. They're recognizing that there's going to be a lot of legal challenges, and there's a new Supreme Court that some of these challenges will have to work their way up. The good part about when you file litigation is that a number of things stop. You're asking the court, hey, while this process goes through the courts, we want whatever you're attempting to implement to stop. Like the former president, now president-elect's strategy throughout his criminal process. Delay, delay, delay. If I can make a challenge to whatever you're alleging to have happened and to delay the implementation of it, that's one strategy. So I know that's out there, and these folks have been gearing up, as they said, for war, which they know is coming once day one hits for the president.
But it seems like you're talking about the DACA, the dreamers that have been some of the citizens that are here, and they want to break up families. And so there's a lot of problems now with the lawyers. You don't know who's going to be deported. But
you don't know who's going to be deported. But one thing I can tell you, what we know is before the actual person that he's tapping to be in charge of this process is who was there before in the past. And so he was in the center of that entire separating kids from families. So that will be something that will be talked about.
And there's the emotional aspect out of that, but the legal aspect of it, where does that go? Where does that fall?
Well, it really falls to the Supreme Court. The federal government has absolute control over immigration. And so while on the state level, you see a lot of attorneys generals making stances in their own states. You see a lot of state house capitals, both houses and senates on the state levels, doing the exact same things, jockeying for a position on what they can do. But you also see the president-elect making the determination that this will be something that he'll continue to fight for. So what I can say is, even if you don't have the Supreme Court's issue, he said this before, that he will use the Alien Enemies Act, similar to what they did with the concentration camps with the Japanese, by saying that this is a foreign country that's attempting to invade, and because these folks are invading, I have authority as the president to ensure that they can't come into the country. So those are a number of avenues that the president can use to stop folks from coming in or remove people throughout this process. So while he has a number of tools in his tool bag, on the other side, I think they have just as many. And so this process is going to be one that fights out. But unlike in the past, where he only had, the Electoral College vote, he just won this election with both Electoral College and support by the popular vote. And so this seems to be something that he has support with, and we'll see. Time will only tell if attorneys on both sides will figure this out.
You talked about it, starting something like this on day one. We will certainly monitor this going forward over the next few months. In the meantime, if anybody falls under this kind of situation as far as immigration goes, contact your lawyer and make sure you know where your rights are. Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, thanks.